So I keep waiting for a good time to do a video and it never happens. So we're just gonna do it literally on my lunch break. And there's gonna be background noise and not feeling my best. Not looking my best, I guess is what I should say. I don't feel like I look my best, but we're just gonna do it. I have like a ton of bug bites because I went camping. I went to see more states on my 50 states before 50 dream, and I am just eaten alive. But I have been doing the same meditation for at least 3 years now, which is about 1,095 days or more. And I do love meditating. I think all the time anyway, but meditating is always good. And the reason I bring this up is I think a lot of people think that with my bad background and me having a really hard time letting go of anger and blame toward people who've been, part of my story and sometimes have done things I don't agree with. They think that maybe like I haven't worked very hard or done the work. And, I am very embarrassed that I am 38 and I still have a hard time not being angry, not being resentful, or just like enjoying the victim narrative, whatever you want to call it. Everybody has a different perspective on, and has said their perspective on what they think I am or what I feel or do. I'm sure a victim narrative can be really nice to give yourself some sort of like story and validation and everything, but as I said before in a video titled "To the Person Who Hurt Me the Most," I was like, this anger and resentment is like it's like making me sick and I want to let it go, and I've really focused on that, and I love meditating, but I still experience like emotions every day and all the time, like a lot. So a little while ago, I want to say a couple weeks ago, I was meditating for a really long time, really deeply, listening to the same song on repeat, because sometimes music helps. And I just got this kind of vision or feeling like what makes me human is that I've suffered. Like every human has suffering in their story, and in fact it often makes us a very interesting person. And so I'm just like not unique in having suffering, I guess, is the feeling I got. It didn't make me feel small, like my suffering didn't matter. That's not the feeling that I got. I was on my period when I was meditating, so it was definitely like a dark, heavy feeling as I thought about my suffering, but then it kind of transmuted into seeing the suffering of all of humanity and the whole world. I felt that really deeply, seeing whole cultures and people and like factions of humanity or genders or whatever, or age groups suffering, and that it was all part of like a really, really big, intricate, almost like machine or story where every part mattered and every part had a place and a function and everything. But it didn't feel like a machine that a man had made. It felt very natural. It felt like it was stone and wood and dirt and stuff like that. And I could almost like hear that deep noise of like stone grinding down wheat or corn, like we all do with our main grains in each culture throughout all of history, in order to provide nourishment. And it was like that. It felt like that. And so, was my suffering important? In a way, yes, because it was part of this human experience, and it probably made me a unique person. And if I wanted to, I could learn from it, and I could have wisdom and compassion and stuff like that. That's great. But it's also just a fact of life, right? And so in a way it didn't matter, because all of humanity, every little thing, every person has suffered, and some without any trace of their sufferings. There's no book written about them. There's no movie. There's no one to remember their name, and yet they suffered, right? And so, yeah, is suffering important? Is it an aspect? Yes. But is it something that I want to fixate on forever? I don't think so. And if I could move past living in fear, suffering, anger, resentment, whatever, it would be an opportunity, if I let that go, to grasp something better, like letting it go and letting growth and healing, or just like creation happen. If I stop holding on to the ashes, maybe there's something that can be made, and so it was almost like it was showing me just how meaningless it was to grasp onto suffering and to think that suffering had to happen. And it's hard not to. Like, our culture says, oh, you've got to undergo surgery, or like you've got to exercise until you hurt and burn and ache and sweat in order to earn the meal that you ate or something. And you have to look perfect, you have to act perfect, you have to work hard, you have to look busy at your job, like there's so many things. Like a diploma is a way to like certify that you've suffered enough in order to be qualified for some sort of position or power, or able to certify something. And so, is suffering part of life? Is it really fundamental to who we are as people? For sure, it is and can be. But I think identifying with suffering has been holding me back. Maybe, I'm not sure. It was a difficult meditation to have and to see. I didn't feel like I didn't matter. I didn't feel like my suffering didn't matter, but at the same time, I feel like I got this message of like, it doesn't matter that much. What matters is, what can you do now? What can you be now? And I would have to agree with that. But I do think that when we're working and comforting other victims, I think this might be a conclusion that only they can come to in their own time. It takes it, and I don't know for sure, but I've never like preached or written anything that has convinced someone to bloom before they're ready. It might just be something that they have to do when they're ready. And in my case, unfortunately, I'm 38 years old, and I'm like, but my suffering is legitimate. My suffering it's certifiably. I was in foster care. I have documents. I have documents of my suffering. I have documents of me giving birth with no drugs outside of a hospital. I have scars to show. I'm so like certifiably a professional sufferer. I have a book that was published about my sufferings. Like I have police reports and documents if you want to see my suffering. And it's like, nice, okay, so anyway, you can do something else. Did you know there's a whole world out there and you can do anything else? And I'm 38. Probably some people never get it in their lifetime, but some people probably get this lesson a lot earlier than I have. I'm 38 years old, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should put this down, Because when I was in foster care, my foster mom would say, you can use this as a stumbling block, or you can use this as a stepping stone. And I think I took that in a certain way, where I was like, okay, stepping stone, okay. Like, I could write about this in college essays and get a scholarship. Yeah, okay. Or I could, write all this out, turn it into a book and sell it for money. Okay. But now it's like, okay, so you stepped over the stone. Move on to the next thing. Go forward. And I have no idea what that would be. But I do know that as I try to set down all this stuff and stop struggling, I do feel happier and I do feel less sick. And I'm going to keep going because I keep finding stuff. It's not over yet. I wish I could say I was like, oh, and then I never thought about it again. After I sent that video onto YouTube and told everyone how I'm ready to release it, it was fine. No, I'm still struggling. I still find myself doing those loops. I keep saying like, oh, and then this, or I'll see a picture and it will prompt something. I'll be like, oh, this. And it's probably very akin to like an addiction where it's like, oh, I could use right now. And it's like, no, remember how you made that decision that you're gonna, let it go. Like I have to coach myself. Kira, you said you were not going to sit here and think about it, dwell on it. Remember, we're gonna choose life. We can choose to hold on to this, but remember how we were like really thinking on this and putting a lot of effort into it, and we decided that it was better to let it go. How about we go ahead and do that? We don't need to keep eating a stone. We can start eating bread. We can start making bread. So anyway, what an amazing meditation. I've done over 1,000 days of meditation, like I said, and I have not had these types of, visions all the time. Most of the time it's been very boring. I've even fallen asleep. But I did want to share that. And I'm embarrassed to share all this because of where I am in life. I have 3 children. I gave birth to 3 children. These glasses look yucky because I wore them in the pool and they have spots all over them. I've given birth without medication. Like, I have a master's degree. I'm married. I have a mortgage, like everything. I live in America. I speak English. I know like 3rd grade level of Spanish. I know sign language. I know how to read. I've written a book, and still I'm learning things that I've seen people much younger than me and much wiser than me embrace. So I'm hoping by throwing this up on the internet, I show that it's okay to still be learning and still be trying and still not getting it right at 38 or 48 or anything like. But I would be remiss if I didn't say, like, I know these things are written in wise books. I know that wise men and women embrace these principles, and I'm still struggling to do just that. So I think I'm a smart person, and yet here I am at the basics. So if you're right there with me, maybe we're both not alone, right? Have a good day.